Welcome! A lot of you are viewing this video because you have questions about how to homeschool in the state of Maryland or other states. A lot of states have the same criteria and the same structure. Some states have other requirements and some states don't, but today we're going to focus on Maryland. You're going to need to decide whether you're going to use the county as your reviewer or if you're going to use an umbrella program. So an umbrella program is not the county. They have nothing to do with them, and typically the umbrella programs are very hands-off. If you choose to go with the county can tell you at the end of the year when you do your review, which we'll discuss in a little bit, that they can say, oh no, we want to see more of this, we want to see more of this, and they won't sign your child off for the next grade until you give them what they want to see. An umbrella program, I use Churchville Christian, they're very hands-off, and the reviews are done independently. So I, now being with them for a year, if somebody wants to come to me, I can do their child's review. I'll look at their portfolio, which we will also discuss later in this video. And I will decide, okay, so is this on grade level? Is this, did they have a beginning, a middle, and an end of their year? Can they show me in their portfolio they did 180 days of learning throughout the year and provided education in the main areas of learning? Also, you'll need to decide before you fill out your opting into homeschooling form, which we'll get to, will you opt in or opt out of standardized testing? We're trying to break away from the state school system here. So this is where you typically opt out. I want to say that 90% of most homeschoolers opt out of standardized testing because this is where they can come back and say, hey, he's not doing too good. We're going to pull him back into public schools. I hope that's not the case, but opting out of standardized testing is one way, another way to just completely separate yourself from the state or the county. The curriculum, and the curriculum we'll talk about just momentarily here, but let me go back to this. So what you're going to need to do is after you've decided homeschooling is for you and you've chosen an umbrella program or decided whether you're going to use the county as your reviewer, you're going to need to download this form here for the state of Maryland. There's a link below in the description. This here is your homeschool instruction notification form. Fill this form out for up to 4 students, and then you're going to put in here, whether you are going to opt in or opt out of standardized testing. Right here, you click on B. Click on B. Check this off. And if you're going to use an umbrella program, fill them out here. I'm going to have a link to the list of umbrella programs that are currently active in the state of Maryland also below, and I'll show you that here on this video as well momentarily. Once this is filled out completely, you can email this form to homeschooling@yourcounty's email.com. For me, it's homeschool@hcps.org. So once this is filled out, you now have to wait 15 days. You also have to tell your umbrella program that this form is filled out. When you fill out the umbrella paperwork, they will send in to the county their paperwork saying you're going to be with them. They take care of it all for you in the back end. Sorry if I'm babbling, but this is how it is. It's really not that hard. You simply fill out the form for the fill out the homeschool form here. Then you sign up with your umbrella program, and they will take care of the rest. A lot of times the umbrella program might tell you, hey, can you send us a copy of your form? We're going to send it all in for you. You don't really have to do that, but if they ask you for it, it just makes things easier. I use Churchville Christian. Again, they're very hands-off. It's $95 a year for the umbrella program. And with that, I get my peer review at the end of the year. They take care of the paperwork to the county for me. All I got to do is teach my kid. The curriculum. So the biggest question most homeschoolers have, or homeschool parents have, is what do I teach my kids? Where do I get a curriculum? Well, that's rather simple. You teach your kids what you want to teach your kids. However, you have to make sure you fall into the guidelines of Maryland. And here we have So here in Maryland, you have to provide regular, thorough education. Thorough is not defined. But you have to make sure that you provide them materials in the core learning areas, which are English, math, science, social studies, art, music, health, and physical education. Physical education and art, they need to take place one time per week, as well as music. But here's the thing. You're going down the road, you're talking to your kid, you got the radio on, and you're talking about music, you're talking about the different types of music and different styles of music, and you're critiquing songs on the radio. That's music. Or you put your kid into a guitar class or a violin class, or they learn how to play another instrument. That's music. It doesn't have to be something where they're sitting in the classroom learning the musical staff. I mean, that's something that's great to learn. However, the child can go do something on their own that truly interests them and learn from it. Document that. Put that into like a spreadsheet. Put it into your portfolio. Art. Teach them. Again, if you have a kindergartner, you're going to teach them the basic colors. If you have a first grader, you're going to try to have them color things and stay in the lines. A coloring book will count as art. My son likes to do painting with crab shells. Him and his mother sometimes do that. That is art. If you want to take and you go out back and build a fort with your kid, well, that's multiple things. He's getting physical education. He's getting art. He's getting different life skills education in there. Again, you can use things to your benefit. Again, just write it down and document it. But you'll notice at the end of the school year, when you go to have your review, your reviewers can look at this and go, oh, cool, turn the page. It's not hard. So health, okay? So teach your kids about how to take care of themselves. Teach them how to take care of their body. As they get older and they're like 6th, 7th, 8th grade, yes, you're going to have other conversations with them. When they learn about different types of infectious diseases, or they learn about the hazards of smoking and drugs and stuff, you can teach that at home. You also can teach them other things, like let's say you have a mother or father that's a doctor or a nurse. Learning about the human body and anatomy, that's health. Social studies, and it's even good as science. Science, okay? I mean, if your kid's into that show called The Wildcrats, watch them. Those things are really interesting. That's science. They're learning about nature. They're learning about different animals. If they're into things with the History Channel, well, watch some stuff on there. If a lot of these real life documentaries they have, that's social studies. Write it down and document it. Make sure, this is just my personal opinion, make sure you're teaching them about their rights and responsibilities as an American citizen. Teach them about the Constitution. Teach them about the Bill of Rights. That all goes under social studies. And if they're writing about it, well, that's English and writing. You can do it all at the same time. It doesn't have to be 6 hours behind a desk of a kid just dragging on all day long like, I don't want to be here. I'm not listening. Because children, boys mainly, all kids, they're not wired to sit 6 hours. Even while I've been on these other screens here, I'm still doing the hand gestures and motions because I'm not wired to sit still and talk like this. Most people aren't, especially those with very active minds. Speaking of active minds, for education, science, math, there are programs out there that teach your kids robotics. Those classes, they're like 1 day a week. You'll learn mechanics, you'll learn physics, you'll learn some coding, you'll learn math because a lot of coding requires math. That's a lot right there in one thing. So hopefully I'm not dragging on here too far. And let's move on. So just keep in mind that your curriculum is really whatever you want to make it. So again, you get to build it around your child's interests. And make sure you do that. Because if you don't give them the education they want, they'll be bored and just want to go back to regular school where they can do whatever goofy crap with their friends. Moving on. Come on. Portfolios. So at the end of the year, you'll have to put together a portfolio. And a portfolio is a simple, it's just a glimpse at the work of what your kid did all year long. Your portfolio is simple. You just need to have 4 samples from each class. And like here's a little bit of math. This is some stuff from last year. And then, now this actually is this year's. This is this year starting. It's got a little bit of math. Make sure in the very beginning of your portfolio, I'm not going to turn this page over. If you decide to do a in-person portfolio, just make sure you have in the very front, this is my registration paper with Churchville Christian. I even have the registration card they'll give you as well with our names on there. It's simple. 4 pieces from each subject is all you really need to do something. And when you're done, put stickers all. Have the kid go wild, put stickers and stuff all over, because these things you may want to save, and then a couple years down the road, they'll want to look back and see what they did, and they'll have, just a document, a glimpse here of what they used to do and how much fun it was. And when they're talking to their friends about it, it's like, oh man, you were homeschooled. What did you do? Well, for phys ed, I was outside riding my dirt bike every day. Or for health, for health, I was just learning about the body. I was going to old age centers with my mom. Or for social studies, I was taking these really cool trips to museums. For math and science, I was taking a robotics class and learning how to program. These are things that one day kids will look back and go, I wish I could have done that. It's a lot of fun. Definitely make the curriculum that you choose for your kid fun. And that brings us to your end of year review. So the end of year review, again, it's simple. So somebody like myself, you can send me pictures of your portfolio. Just send me pictures of all the pages. You can take and just scan them and upload them to a Google Drive or make like one big PDF file and email it to somebody. They'll take a look at it, and they'll get the sign-off form for you. They'll sign you off. You mail it into the homeschool umbrella. They send it to the county. Your kid's moved on to the next grade. Okay, let's take you into a glimpse of my kid's last year's portfolio. He just got some of his artwork in here. Cards he made for Mother's Day, and then we have some of the program he did for music, and then we have a letter that we put all about him and his stuff. Again, just plenty of. So we did a money tracker for a little while, and this is life skills. This is math. It was money he earned and spent. We didn't do a whole lot on it, but that's enough. And again, for math, we went through multiple different things. We started with the good and the beautiful, and then we decided to move on to just some regular workbooks. But I was told that this was way too much. The portfolio, I probably have 30 pages just in math alone. Had him do some speed drills. He had 30 seconds to do this. So all these are 30-second worksheets. But then down to reading. So for reading, we had a log, of what books he read, and this kept that. We another reading log we tried, and then we did these things. They're called the 180-day workbooks. And here, so he had to read this blurb, and then he had to answer these questions. This is all good for reading comprehension, And then writing. Let's go back to writing. We had him just do some sample writing stuff here. And then I had him do this project at the very end. Made him thank everyone for his birthday gifts. Had him go out back and just observe nature and write down what he sees. Again, this is all you need. So I had him write what he wanted for Christmas and whatnot. And then I had him do a final writing project where he had to do his rough drafts, his markups, and finally a final draft. And he came up with something like this, because he loves to ride motorcycles. Phys ed, so the phys ed and life skills, I have a log on Google Drive, which I just sent in with my review, and they said, this is way too much. So that was way too thorough. Again, 4 samples per subject is all you really need. So this link here for Maryland, this will also be down below. And these are your registered, supervised homeschool instruction. These are your umbrellas, okay? Not just umbrellas. Some of these are also Christian schools or private schools that also have an umbrella program that you can register under, and they'll have a homeschool instruction. However, some of the private schools that also have an umbrella program may have more stringent criteria for their end-of-year review, which is why in here I just choose to use Churchville Christian. It's very simple. You can look, I think it's like churchvillecc.org is their website. It seems to be the easiest one to deal with that I've been told. A lot of people love using the World Schoolers. I've heard of people using Harford Christian, and I've even heard of people using the county, using Harford County, and not having any problems with the county. Me, I want to separate myself from the county as far as I can. I don't want to have to deal with them putting their nose into my life of what I'm doing with my kid. Even some of these, there's some homeschool co-ops out there as well that have a built-in umbrella program, such as the Aspiring Phoenix. I believe they have their own co-op as well as an umbrella program. Another one is Abingdon Classical. I know they have a co-op now as well as an umbrella program. However, some of these co-ops have fees involved for their daily or few time a week program, and some of them are cheap and some of them are a portion of the cost of sending your kid to private school, and you're not even there for a full day during the week. So you got to be careful with that. Make sure you know what you're getting into. And if you have any questions, just put your comments below. I'll try to get to everything. And all these links will be there below as well. But if you're looking at this from another state, I mean, I know some states like West Virginia, you have to do it's a biannual review with the state where you have to go be assessed by the state to make sure that you are still staying on target. I don't know other states that do that. West Virginia, again, that seems like one of them. You would think Maryland would be. Shh, don't tell them. But thankfully we're not. Apparently Maryland's one of the more free homeschool states. I hope they don't pass some of the laws that have been coming up where they want to actually put requirements on who can and can't teach, and the requirements of a parent to teach. That's too much oversight. But anyway, again, comments below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. It's simple, and enjoy the journey because you're going to free your kid from the nonsense of the public school system. I mean, right now with us having schools be 30 plus in a classroom, how can a 65-year-old teacher teach 30 plus 10-year-olds? I had trouble teaching one, and I'm not 65. So it's just the school system's broken. The whole system, it's in our eyes, it's broken. They're not teaching our kids what they need to learn. And again, they're just, as Rockefeller designed it, they're just putting out good workers. They're not putting out good thinkers. So until next time, I'm out. Have a great day. And again, comment below.